And welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. As you can see here, this is finally version 0.18. After several weeks of watching developers play the game, and then more recently a select group of YouTubers play the game for reviews and media exposure and so on, finally Kerbal Space Program 0.18 is available for everyone. And so we begin anew, starting a new save. And here we are at the Kerbal Space Center. And of course, this is a completely new save. There are no flights in progress. I must say that the sound effects with the birds and whatnot is good. This background image looks really good, especially out here in the distance. And there is a lot of changes. There is the vehicle assembly building. There's a lot of changes in the vessel editor. Now, one of the things that does remain the same is that monolith that was discovered on the Kerbal Space Program grounds, and the strange, unexplained emissions coming from it. And what we're going to be doing here is put together a space probe, because we're going to explore the area where those signals appear to be coming from. One of the reasons for this is to find out what it's going to take to send a crew of Kerbals out there to find out what's going on. So we have our core. We have some scientific instruments. We're going to want to know about temperature readings out there, gravitational forces, and if we manage to find any planets that we can land this thing on, we're going to want to know about barometric pressure, atmospheric stuff, and so on. And it only makes sense to have a high gain antenna for transmitting this information back to Kerbal. Alright, of course, I have to find everything in this mountain of new parts. There is a lot of new stuff out here. And yes, going to be using this sometime soon too. There will be a space station involved, and this one will be a real space station. Let's see. Utility. This thing's going to need solar power to operate, because if this module doesn't have power, it stops working. Let's see. I think it's a good idea to have battery packs, but perhaps not there. It might be better. wonder, can you put them along here? Apparently not. Alright. I see. Perhaps okay, that appears to have worked. And that's actually a little bit more centered. Better. All right. Much better. Okay. Now, the reason for these long struts, we need a place to put solar arrays, and they will provide power to the whole arrangement. Batteries will keep it going until the solar arrays can be opened. Alright, now we need to find an appropriate size decoupler. Not yet. It occurs to me this thing is actually going to need the ability to move around a little bit to adjust its course and so on. So fuel tanks on here. Wait a minute. I seem to recall there was something else here. I have to say I kind of like the music they've chosen to put into this. I know they've put this thing in here, but I can't seem to find it. The ion engine. Electric propulsion system, there we go. And that requires xenon gas as propellant. That's monopropellant, that's thruster fuel. I like these side-mounted parachutes, radial things. The fact that they now have a separate drogue chute design, and of course, docking clamps. Xenon containers. There we go. I realize I probably don't need that many, but putting them on there anyway. And a pair of radioisotope thermal generators, just to ensure there's power even in the event the batteries and the solar panels fail. Alright, now we need that small decoupler. Okay, you can't just select over that anymore. You have to actually backspace it out. Alright. Dual probe 1. Now we need a launch vehicle to get it out there. Let's see, control. I like the SAS to redesign. That's the advanced SAS. That's the one that has control. I'm going to add this one to it because this one adds torque. And that little probe control thing up there does not have any torque. Using these thrusters too. All right. Well, let's see here. RCS fuel. Traditional Kerbal fashion and be excessive and add more than I need. Oh yeah. I like the automatic fairing thing. quite what I had in mind, but it ought to work. What could go wrong? Okay. Got new radio decouplers. Okay, looks good. Maybe a little odd, but what the heck? Let's give it a shot. All right. Suppose I should have a look at the map and see where Joule is in relation to us. Right here. Oh yes. New item between Duna and Joule called Dres. Dwarf planet, big asteroid. You take your pick. Alright, let's I think Joule's gonna have to be like 90 degrees off from us. Actually, that looks like 90 degrees, but it might be 90 degrees in the wrong direction. Why am I getting a inability to time warp faster? There's no Whoa. End flight. I saw that coming. Guess what I forgot to put on here? Ye old stability enhancers. Okay, save, launch. Alright, now we should be able to warp time to get a good... Actually, you know something? I'm not going to do that. I know it's probably the best thing to do, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to see if I can get this big honking monster into orbit. So we start our SAS, throttle ourselves up, and go. Throttle remains down a bit. This unlikely beast is flying. Sort of. Got a good bit of rotation going on. Trying to swing it around to 90 degrees. And that's not happening. Come on. That's a lot closer than it has been. In spite of ourselves, we've got a decent altitude here. Oh. All right, we're 2 minutes out, so let us try out this new maneuver node. Work some plane change into this. And some prograde. And some more plane change. Shrink that down a little bit. It doesn't need to be that big of an orbit. All right. Our orbit is set. Now, we just need to get our ship lined up. It's a good thing I put some RCS on this thing. There's our blue burn marker. If I can just get the ship pointed at it, because we should already be burning. Using a little bit of thrust to try to bring us on course. Help with the steering. This thing is a whale. Our orbit is going to look like crap. It's going to look even worse now. I'm not sure. I obviously messed up the staging somehow. That nuclear engine was supposed to fire, not be jettisoned. Our little ion drive is burning. But its thrust is so low. Even with that incredible specific impulse, that thing will be burning for a very long time to come. An hour and a half. According to this, estimated burn an hour and 20-some minutes. Let's get it pointed in the right direction. It's not going to matter. This thing is going to come in and crash. Oh well. First flights in a new version with new stuff, doing new things. It pretty much was going to go wrong. Let's see. Well, our solar panels blew off. I wonder if the communication dish will. Anyway, so much for the first flight in 0.18. There will be many, many more flights to come, and that mission to Joule will happen. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.